Subscribe to the Flom Clips and Highlights channel so we can milk another video about EliGE joining Liquid and pretend like we all didn't know this was happening. Flom, why are you making another video about EliGE? Because at least 10 people will come into my stream today and say, Flom, did you see the EliGE article and announcement? And I will say, go watch the video. All right. It's hard to remember a time before CS threw EliGE's name, but 10 years ago when he first joined Liquid, he was an unknown quantity. Okay, they're just talking about his history. I'm not reading all that. We're going to go straight to the interview. Wait. Video. Oh, it's a Twitter embed. Tough.
Right through 8 HP, and Alex is forced to move, forced to get away, and the smoke's still down. He knows he's nowhere else. He has to be there. He is so smart. He clears everything. 3 steps ahead, and he gets championship point for Liquid.
And he's taking names down to the grave.
And it's ice cold from EliGE.
Until Grand Slam, Team Liquid. They have done what no one may ever do again.
He's going to be pressured. Named it. Shota. Then defusing it.
And it's red.
Oh, those old jerseys are pretty dope. I miss those.
We need the recovery and zip with the 1 versus 2. He takes one and
Feels good to be back.
It does look normal again. I'm not going to lie. Usually when we see some of these roster announcements, it's like, man, this looks weird. It kind of feels like we're healing in a weird way. Liquid is still an EU VRS team. I'm not delusional, but also that felt, it feels good. It feels good. I feel like Twist is going to feel the same. I'm going to see Twist in a FaZe jersey and it's going to kind of feel normal again, you know? All right. So how are we feeling about rejoining Team Liquid? I think that Team Liquid's always been the best org to me. It's the org that I started my career with pretty much, and I've been with them for most of it. We really had good highs, I had a lot of good learning moments as a player, but as a person as well. Dude, that's actually crazy. Now I'm feeling old. Can we not read the interviews that match how old people? It's been a long time since then. What does it mean to be coming back to the org? Where you had a big break? It definitely means a lot to be back at the org. Looked up to ever since StarCraft days. I always forget that he's a StarCraft head, but that's incredibly based. It's all the esports orgs kind of look up to. I mean, yeah, like most people as dog, people like to dog on management, like basically joke of Steve, but at the end of the day, Liquid has some pretty crazy facilities that no, like FaZe is like, oh yeah, we bought out, or FaZe is like, we got all these complexity facilities that we now have. It's like, yeah, well, Liquid has 2 offices across the world. Like you want a boot camp in LA, we got you. Want a boot camp in the Netherlands, we got you. You need some team apartments, we got you. It's a pretty crazy infrastructure that they have compared to other orgs. Anyway, Liquid is a great team in CS, and I think that they have close game the whole year. There's just been something that's been keeping them from getting over that final hump. Same with FaZe, you could say. I think I can get them over that hump. I'm really excited to be part of that. I think so too, EliGE. Sorry, I'm glazing. I'll stop. The first time you were with Liquid for 8 years, you grew and changed a lot during that time. How do you think you've grown in the time you were gone? The time that I was in Liquid was substantial, just going from a teenager to being an adult and having to go through all the different hardships on the competitive team, highs, lows. That being said, on the team for so long, you're not really going to brand new lineups, so you can start from scratch. Went out complexity, then went to FaZe, and those were all completely new players I've never played with before, which was a really different experience, and to figure out how I could best fit into those spots and how I could have impact on the team. It's a little different for both. With Cole, I was going to a team with less experience, and I felt like they need to be more guided, and I need to take on the role of being a leadership figure and trying to find a good balance. Tactically, the guys already there had a lot of ideas, and was just meshing up those styles and trying to find the give and take of what was best for us, and I think we did a pretty good job on that roster, and I could look back on that fondly. And then with FaZe, I was going to the team with a bunch of very experienced players, and I was just trying to find my impact where I could see what I could do to help the team win and trying to do what they needed. So they were different experiences, and I think that's very valuable in grand scheme of things. Basically, he was Unk at Cole, not Unk at FaZe. And honestly, I feel like he was a little less long-winded in the answer, and I'm going to read way too much into that. I just don't think it was a good fit. like it just seemed like there's a little bit more detail here, and here's like, yeah, they had their own ideas. A big reason why you're coming back to TL is our head coach, Flashy. Oh, interesting. You talk about your relationship with him and the role that you think you'll be playing building out the team's new system. Flashy and I already kind of knew each other because he's the coach of my fiance's team, CLG Red, in the past. We were already familiar with each other, and I've always thought he was a smart guy. We talked more about the game and how we see things, and just hearing about the structure of Liquid was really enticing to me because I feel like we're speaking the same Counter-Strike. I think that when we're all on the same page about how we want to communicate ideas and how we want to go about things, it just makes things a lot easier. I didn't consider this. I knew Flashy was coach of CLG Red for a bit, but I know EliGE at different times like was just involved with helping the team. So they probably actually have like a history, which I didn't even consider. That's kind of cool. I don't know if it plays a huge part. I'm not going to try to oversell it, but I think that's a cool connection. For my role, I'm going to see what I need to do on the team because I think I need to shape myself to be what the team needs. So if the team needs someone who's a louder voice, taking charge a little bit more, kind of how I was on Cole, then I'll do that. Obviously, I'm going to have my ideas. That'll never change. I'm always going to be trying to offer up solutions, which before any of you like think he's being stubborn, that's what any good CS player does. And especially in the roles that he plays, they need to yap a lot. So before somebody likes to jump, I know how the internet is and people like to jump the gun here a little bit, but that's normal. Trying to be really active for my position, being a very malleable person and player, and I really believe in the structure of everything I've heard on Liquid. Team has a lot of really strong players, a lot of things that look like they can line up really well for us to win championships, so I'm just going to be trying to fit in as well as I can and have a good relationship with all the guys. The one thing that I really like having is a good relationship with the coach and the IGL, being able to talk to them as much as I can about different ideas that I have, or ways that we can improve things. And I think that's also what Flashy and Shui want to. Yeah, he will be the second voice. And back to what I was just saying, you don't play the positions that he plays without being the second voice. Not really anymore. And the reason for that is he's going to be in the areas where he's getting the most information. And he needs to relay that and have good situational awareness and similar ideas to what the rest of the team wants to do. Just to kind of add a little bit of context to that, like that you just have to do that in his role. Like there's no, if EliGE plays, and this goes for like Donk, for example, like Donk is going to have incredible impact. And I'm not saying EliGE is Donk, but just to give you a different example of somebody that's usually in the mess of things, Donk for sure is giving a lot of reads to Chopper. The marriage has to happen with players when the person that's giving the information to the IGL, they basically come up with the same answer together, right? And then ideally that answer gets spit out faster with less communication having to happen. And then that's when you get real chemistry, and that's when you can start playing a bit faster and doing good shit. Big concern on Team Liquid has been the lack of a true entry. Yep. How do you feel about going back to fill that role, and how do you think your play style will mesh with the players on the team? I'm definitely a very aggressive player. I like going in. I like finding openings. I wouldn't say that I'm a crazy entry, just going in every single round, but I do like finding entries where I can. I'm a little bit more aggressive than most of the guys naturally are, and I think that's the big thing because players usually have their style and they've played with throughout their careers. And this isn't like a role. I think this is a good distinction to make. Like when people talk about things like this, like there are people that like to lurk but are also more aggressive on a lurk, and there's people that are more passive on a lurk. There's more aggressive entries but that are still entries. There's more like when you hear people talk about play styles, it's a little bit different than just like their role. Anyway, so you're always going to have the semblance of how you initially played, so I'll be able to help bridge the gap between players who are naturally more passive. And I also don't think everybody's like crazy passive, but just having that extra bump of somebody that's down to go in, down to find different ways on how we can make it easier to go into the sites or find openings. I think that's where I definitely shine. And I think that should definitely help. And that's why I'm super excited to get started with the guys. Apparently, guys are going to be playing this weekend. Apparently. Bro, I'm on teamliquid.com. Interviewer said, apparently you guys, like, bro didn't know. Okay. All right. Apparently you guys are like, yeah, okay, man. Yeah, I'm shocked. That's crazy, man. I had no idea. Apparently you guys are going to be playing this weekend, so it's a pretty quick turnaround. How are you feeling about that? It's up against the clock in terms of getting ready in time, especially VRS implications, and trying to get in the games that I can before the roster lock or the major. It's obviously not going to be enough time for me to be fully incorporated, but I just want to be showing my best face. That's how I am as a competitor. I never want to go into a tournament not being ready. I've just been trying to work on myself individually as much as I can from a mechanical perspective. I'm trying to work on things that I wasn't really able to focus on before, because I think when you change things mechanically, you can't really give things a good shot while you always have to be ready to compete the next day. So I think it's been fun for me to focus on my mechanics in that way. Oh, that's interesting. I wonder, like, is bro trying to tell us in a really fancy way he changed his sense? Oh, fuck. Not the NAF effect. In terms of tactics, I've just been watching the game, seeing what's up. I'm definitely going to be putting in some extra work with Flashy and Shui outside the server, or nerds, whoever I need to talk to, just trying to put in as many hours as I can before the tournament starts. I have to put in as much work as possible trying to figure out the system that they have, the positions, everything. It's going to be a lot of work, but I'm not super worried about that part. That changed. Once the announcement comes out, there's probably going to be a lot of talk about it and a lot of expectations placed on you. Are you feeling any pressure there? I feel like I've already been heavily scrutinized over my career, so it's not going to have anything new to me. Not wrong. To be honest, EliGE going back to Liquid feels like there's less pressure than when he joined FaZe. Maybe. Maybe I'm coping on his behalf, but I feel like there was actually way more pressure when he went to FaZe than now coming back to Liquid. And you know, pressure is a privilege. All eyes are on me, and that's a good thing, right? I think that everybody wants to see how I'm doing. People have been especially supporting me in the last few months, which has been really nice. It definitely keeps me going, and I think fans have been putting their support out there for me. It definitely makes me happy. It is a little bit harder when times are tough and you're not really getting the same support, and it might be more of a negative wave towards you, but I do think the pressure is a privilege, and everyone's just really excited. They need to wait. They want to see what we can do. They want to see what I can do on the team, and I want to show them. For me, it's more about how close the roster deadline is for the VRS, but in the long term, I'm super excited to get started, and the pressure is going to be there, and that's fine. Is there anything you'd like to say to Liquid fans? Of you have followed you around to other teams. I'm super excited to be back on Liquid. I'm sure all the fans are going to be excited to see me wearing the blue again with the guys, and I'm hoping having a new chapter, it's going to be great for everyone. I'm optimistic, feeling really great about how everything's going. I'm excited to get started and happy for all the support. See, that's you guys, right? You guys never wavered with EliGE, right? Right? Everybody's been in EliGE stand perfectly at all times, right? Right. Okay. Nobody flamed EliGE once in this chat. If they did, they'd be banned. Yeah, I mean, looking at this roster, I like it. I really do. This is, hopefully, I genuinely hope this makes FaZe and Liquid both better. Non-cop out, I swear to God. I like these rosters. I also remember how, like I said, I always liked the idea of EliGE going to Navi because he could play under Blade. Remember, Flashy comes from the school of Blade, and EliGE already has a relationship with Flashy, which I didn't really remember. I'm not going to take credit like I knew that, but now that I'm thinking about it, it's like, you know, working with Blade Jr. isn't going to be bad either. So I do like that matchup. I'm not going to pretend like, I mean, I've watched a lot of Shui IGL teams, but I'm not going to sit here and pretend like I have any idea of how he likes to run the team. But this is really interesting. The EliGE Flashy combination is cool to me. It's really cool to me. Obviously, Naf being back with EliGE is cool. I think Nerds hopefully can go back to being a bit more choosy when he entries, which will be good. I still don't know how I feel about Ultimate. He's still like feast or famine. My man is God's gift to opping, or literally Flom with an op in tier 1 Counter-Strike. Like, there's no in between with this man. So what I'm hoping to see is EliGE can help Nerds get his game back, because I feel like, individually speaking, the player that has been most disappointing, most people have been focused on Naf a lot, and not even saying Naf hasn't, but to me, dude, Nerds was like in the conversation of being best rifler like in the world for a moment, like not consistently. I know he didn't end up there, but he was in the top riflers in the world, and in the Liquid jersey, he's not even been close to that. I'm hoping that with EliGE there, those two matching up. I don't think he just, like, you know, the Space Jam meme where he touched a basketball or touched a Counter-Strike mouse and lost all of his skill randomly. I think that the team just hasn't really been set up for him to have great success. So hopefully, what I'm really hoping to see most is, obviously I want to see EliGE do well, but I am really hoping to see Nerds come alive again. That is, if I could pick one person that like really just finds their form, like that to me is going to be the most influential. Subscribe to the Flom Clips and Highlight channel so Gatler can eat. I think in general, Team Liquid and FaZe both ended up better, and they didn't have to do anything besides trade contracts. That's cool.